plenty to get through. It could be the unveiling day, the confirmation day of possibly, potentially 3 new Manchester United signings. Let me know. Get into the chats, everybody. What do you think is going to happen today? Are United about to announce 2 or 3 signings? You know what I mean by that. If you don't, I'll explain what I mean by that in a moment.
And a quick update on Manu Kone, because talks have taken place with his side of things, agency, around a move to Manchester United. A big change literally after I'd finished the show this morning. So let's delve into it, because remember what we were saying this morning is Ederson is off and United like Kone, but there's a bit of a disagreement on the board about whether they want to proceed. That appears to have changed because recent talks have taken place. I tweeted this morning. I put it on my Instagram as well. I did say on the 2nd of July, keep an eye on Manu Kone. We're now on the 11th of July and there has been more recent talks. So look, things moving in the right direction. We'll talk about why I think it's a good deal if we do it in a moment. But I would still say, we're not at the point where we're going to get here we goes or anything like that at the moment. There will not be a problem from Manu Kone's side, and United have a good relationship with this particular agency because their star clients are Bryan Mbeumo and Tchouaméni. And obviously we've held talks with Tchouaméni. It just didn't happen. We held talks with Manu Kone last summer, and obviously we bought Bryan Mbeumo last summer as well. So there is a good relationship there. I believe it's a good relationship that's held with our CEO Omar Barada and Wilcox as well. So look, things there are good. United need to pivot away from Ederson, and logically, I think it makes sense. I mean, I don't know whether United look at the summer and go, it's not going well. This would be a good signing that we like, that we know that would do well with the fan base. I don't think they think like that. I think you've got to look at logically. Ben Jacobs said that we'd been talking to Santos weeks ago, and lo and behold, we signed him. And we know that we've held these talks with Kone in the past. And United definitely need to do something. I think there were reservations there. Certainly, as of this morning, that's what I was told. But that has changed later this morning, that United are on board. And I would look at that and go, look, maybe it is the collapse of the Ederson deal in the last 24 hours that has made, Carrick and co go, look, this is a good player to go for. Maybe it's his performances for France in the quarterfinal. Maybe they've looked at that. Maybe they've looked at the fact that Ederson was a player that was in our system for years, and then we did go there, and Kone is the same. Look, I hope this goes ahead. I really do. I can't say it's here we go or anything like that at the moment, but it's definitely moving in the right direction. That doesn't mean we're not talking to João Gomez, and I certainly don't think we won't. I certainly don't think we signed João Gomez and Kone, but I'll take the encouragement that yes, in the last few hours, this has definitely changed. There are talks ongoing. Will they push through with it? Look, you've got to get, as I said this morning, universal agreement from everybody on the board. And obviously we know with Kone that it's not quite been there. But certainly the fact that they've held recent talks, I think is a positive, moving in the right direction. Look, I think the positives with Kone, 25. So, and I think he's only just 25. Let me just double check that. Obviously the injury stuff, I think people will be in the comments about, that's absolutely normal. I wouldn't expect that to be any different. But look, I think that when you look at the fact that he's represented by the same agency as Tchouaméni, there's a close relationship there. He sort of plays under him for France. There are very similar capabilities. He's a very athletic player, which I don't know whether that's a trait of that particular agency, but you look at their 4 best players, Koundé, Tchouaméni, Kone, and Mbeumo. It's not uncommon for an agency to look after their players to that extent, and they are very athletic players, very hard-working players. So yeah, he's 25. He's only just turned 25, so literally at the start of May he was 24. So he's only just turned 25. Good age for a player to come into Man United. Obviously, he's established in the French squad. He has got experience of the Bundesliga and Serie A. The price is good. Roma would do it for less than 50 million euros. He would come to us. There is no bidding war there. We have a good relationship with the agency. We need a midfielder. And I think that, the positives for me are that he fits the profile of what I think we need. And by no means is he a sitter, a six. Like he can get forward. He is very energetic. He is good on the ball. But yeah, he is a defensive monster as well. And I think that's what I think that's what United need. And I think as well, if you said to me Santos and Kone, or Santos and Ederson, or Santos and Gomez, I think that Santos and Gomez is a little bit like underwhelming, whereas I think Santos and Kone just excites me a little bit more. I mean, look, I'll be honest, I think it's been a very negative transfer window, and you can only swallow what you fed. And it hasn't been great. But I think if they do get Kone, it just makes me feel a little bit more optimistic about our chances and Carrick's chances. And I look at Champions League football next year, Premier League football, and you know, you're going to somewhere like Bayern Munich, or you're going to somewhere like Stamford Bridge, and you've got Kone, Santos and Manu, and another one. I actually feel a lot better than that than I do about Ederson, Santos and Manu, or Gomez, Santos and Manu. So look, I think that says a lot about this signing. I like the player. I know a lot of people are scouting him on the World Cup. I don't necessarily agree with that. However, as I said yesterday, you can scout him on the World Cup if you think about it, because he's in the French squad. How many good players don't get in the French squad? So he's got to be good to be in the French squad, hasn't he? It's not like he's playing for Austria where they don't have a lot of choice. So, you know, international football, it's hard to scout people, but when you're in the French squad or you're starting for France, you know the volume of good players that they've got. Second to that, I know about him anyway. I think a lot of us know about him. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've had him on previous career modes as well. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's anything, but I had Dorgo on previous career modes. What I'm saying is I know about the player, and I think a lot of you do as well. I like the profile. You know, we are operating. I never would have said get Manu Kone in March or May, but where we are in this window, I would have said, you know, this is a very intelligent deal to do. We do have to be a little bit careful. You know, we do have to be a little bit careful, because talks with the agent doesn't necessarily mean it leads to a deal. It doesn't necessarily mean that another club doesn't come in. But United do need to move quick. I think having good relationships with certain agencies helps, and we have that. I think the fact that he'd love to come to Man United helps. I think the fact that the price is reasonable helps. And I think the fact that it's a deal that most people would be quite happy with helps. So, look, let's see how it develops. Hopefully it's going to be a quick-moving one, but it's definitely moving. With regards to the injury, it's not that I don't take it on board. I mean, I've got the information here in front of me just to go over this again. We have done it on previous shows. Injury history, predominantly, I think people's concerns are around the 2 hamstring injuries that he had last season. One kept him out for 25 days. The other one kept him out for 40 days. One was in March and one was in January. Beyond that, there is no other hamstring issue. There's sporadic games here and there where he's had problems, but it's not unusual for a player to pick up muscular injury and muscular fatigue. This is what the medical's for. I mean, look, if this advances like it can, and we get to a point where he's having a medical, and he doesn't sign, and we're in the same position with Ederson, then, you know, you probably have the conversation about pulling out, don't you? But I certainly don't think it's a reason not to go for a player like that. I mean, look, I think he's a good player. You have to get through the medical, of course you do, but I think this Ederson thing is just very, very unique, and I think the problem with a knee is not the same as the problem with a hamstring. Hamstring player, you know, this can happen, you can manage it. Players do pick up injuries. So, look, I wouldn't be massively worried about that. If he can get through a medical, there's not an issue there. If he goes in a medical and they say, you know, he's got hamstrings like breadsticks, they're going to keep snapping, then you don't do the deal, do you? But let us know your thoughts. Definitely an advancement from where we were this morning, so I just wanted to drop a video on it. As I said, it is exciting. It is exciting. I think United need to push on this. I think it's an open door. I think it's a straightforward deal. As I said, the fee, the player, the agency, the reaction to this deal, they're all ticks in a box. And when you're Man United and you're getting all those ticks in a box, I think you do the deal. You know, do the deal quickly. You're not going to get a lot of criticism for this. Do the deal. I think it's the right deal to do. I don't know about you. And also, get a deal done quickly and give yourself that breathing space for the third signing, which we know is going to be difficult. If it's Alex Scott, it's going to be difficult. You know, if it's Enmitra, it's going to be difficult. So, yeah, get this deal done, definitely. And, I think it'd be a nice positive. Let's see, though, because as we know, with many positives, they get snatched away. But at the moment, it's looking good.
Let me just confirm to you what I've been telling you now for the last 24 hours. Ederson to Manchester United, deal off. I know There have been different informations, other people saying that it's still not decided, it's still not clear, we still have to wait. And again, I respect absolutely all of that, but Atalanta confirmed again today that the player has been informed that he has to return to Atalanta. He's not going to be signed by Manchester United, so that's the position of the club. Atalanta are ready to welcome back the player. Atalanta believe Ederson is absolutely okay and fit, ready to play football on a regular basis, so no issues about that one. I can also add to you that Ederson already left England, and Ederson is ready now to go to holiday and then return to Atalanta. So that's the stance of parties involved, waiting for Manchester United's stance. I imagine after what happened, Manchester United want to take an official position, and I respect that, obviously. So we have to wait for Man United position as well. But Atalanta and also the players' camp make clear that the deal is not happening anymore. Also, a little bit disappointed on player side, because Ederson really had this dream of playing for Manchester United. So the story is quite clear. Manchester United remain keen on signing new midfielders, because Andre Santos is done. Also, many of you asking me why Andre Santos is not official. Guys, I'm not controlling the social media of Man United to make announcements, but I can guarantee to you that Andre Santos is signed, completed. Also, the contract has been signed yesterday. Andre Santos already completed everything. So Ederson is off, but Andre Santos is happening, and the deal is guaranteed. £50 million, 48 plus 2, and everything done. 5-year deal plus 1 option.
Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one. Back live at 8.